Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Solo Adventures Together. Of course, the podcast where we send each other on different adventures solo and then come back together like this
To talk about it.
to talk about it. So I guess that's why we're here. That's why you asked me to this meeting.
I did ask you. That's why.
To talk about this.
Yeah. I've got my little Pussycat mug today.
That's a beautiful mug.
It's a really, the designer should win an award.
Well, the designer should, give me a kiss.
Wow. Well,
it was
You're
you.
drinking some mate today.
It was you.
Yeah,
I want to clarify. It was you.
Are you drinking mate today?
I am. I'm drinking mate today. We had a little bit of a late start. Still getting a little caffeinated.
So, I went to the event this week.
I sent you to an event this week.
Yeah. So, it was the Women's Circle and Cacao Ceremony, tilde, presence and gratitude.
Tilde, the grammatical.
Yeah, tilde as
symbol.
in the little squiggle sign.
Yeah.
Not a dash.
Like
tilde.
is that like the approximate sign almost?
Yeah, it's approximately presence and gratitude.
So, presence and gratitude. Okay, yeah. So, the reason I chose this just seemed like one of the most unique things I've ever seen. Because it was like part meditation, part, therapy, part drinking cacao. They had mentioned that it was like 2 blocks from the beach, that maybe they're going to go swimming afterwards, which I'm curious if you went swimming afterwards.
No, it was foggy. There was
man,
it was foggy and cold.
Save that for the end. Don't spoil it now.
Oh, well.
Don't worry, I'll ask you that again in an hour. So how was it? What did you do? How did you get ready?
Okay.
What did you wear? How did you look?
So she had sent me an email and said, well, and here's the thing. So you didn't actually buy, normally we buy the tickets for each other.
Yeah.
But we weren't sure if your name would be allowed at the women's circle.
Right, it was a women's circle.
You told me to buy it the day before.
Right.
And so then we got it. And it was $40
Yes.
for a 2-hour thing. I had a really great time. I really had a good time. So there was, I think, 7 participants, and then...
I was really curious how many people were going.
Yeah, so there was about 7 participants. It looks like one person maybe didn't show up. There was one other person who was supposed... There was one other person who was supposed to be there. I know this because there was little rugs placed out for each of us to sit. So the host, Claire, she's been running women's circles for like 2 years now in San Diego.
Okay.
And she used to be an English teacher.
Oh.
And they're held in her house. So basically she pushed her couch out of the way and we're all sitting on the floor of the living room.
I do remember the listing saying, we'll send you address after you buy the ticket. It is at my house.
Yeah. So the couch was moved out of the way, and then there was 8 little, kind of like the Mexican blankets, on the floor for us to sit on. And then there was a card that was face down, some kind of card. And in the email, she said to bring water, wear comfy clothes that you can move around in, and to bring a journal and pen.
Right. Oh, do you have your journal? Where's your journal?
I do, but it's over there.
We don't need to share the...
Don't need to share.
Okay. Private journal. I'll read it later.
I'll tell you what was in it, but...
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you what was in it, but I don't need to read it.
Okay.
She starts this off. Now, I misjudged traffic, so I was a couple minutes late getting there.
Well, it was it was a little farther away.
Well, it was a little farther. Well, no, it was just mostly the traffic, because I had checked how long it was going to take there before, and then I was like, oh, shoot, I got to leave now.
Right. Now.
Now.
Yeah, you were like 2 bites into breakfast. You're like, I guess I'm taking this with me.
Trying to find her house. She's in this beautiful area of San Diego in La Jolla, two blocks from the beach. Find her house, and then I'm like, do I just go in? And I look in the window. I can see them sitting on the floor in there. I open the door. Everyone's whispering. Things are being done at a whisper, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. So sorry. I was like, oh. And then she's like, it's okay. We just started grounding. but we could ground some more. We could ground some more.
Grounding.
And I was like, all right, cool. So then I'm like, mind you, I've been like panicked, running, like trying to find, because the address was like a little tiny bit hard to find, like the very small streets in La Jolla. So it was a little hard to find. So I'm like kind of been rushing, and then I come in and I'm like, yeah, time to meditate right now.
I'm gonna ground. I'm gonna ground so
I'm
hard.
gonna ground so hard. Anyways, she has this little accordion piano. I don't know how else to describe it. It is like a little keyboard with, maybe 16 keys. And then on the back of it, it's got a hand pump organ.
Okay.
And she's playing a couple of tones, just like.
So it's meant to be played one-handed, I imagine. While you're cranking?
I don't really know. Because, she's playing these tones. And actually, it sounds fine. We do some breaths. We kind of get in the zone and get present in the moment.
Sure.
And the whole, ongoing theme was to be present in the moment. Now, I don't know why, expected the cacao ceremony to be at the end. It was not. It was the first thing we did.
Well, I mean, you look at the title, right?
Well, yeah, but we did the grounding, and then she's like, all right, it's time for cacao. And I was like, oh, fuck. So, we did introductions. And she asked us to say our name and say why we were there.
Oh,
I was the only person who had never been to a circle thing before. There was one other person there who it was her first time at a women's only circle. She had done other circles. And then most of the other women had been to her circle before. Okay. So, and some of them it was just their second time. And so they're going around and saying why, and a bunch of them were like, oh, my life's been really busy and I've just been feeling down and I really need some time to, feel, and all the different reasons that they had, that they're working through different stuff, or that they were excited to try a women's only group, and then she gets to me and I'm like, well,
let me start from the top.
And I explained what we do in the show, and they were all like, that is incredible.
You broke the one rule that we have to not talk about the show unless asked about. Oh yeah, we asked about it.
They are asked about it. Well, I didn't. To be fair, I didn't say that we did a podcast about it until I introduced the whole thing, and then eventually I was like, we do a podcast about it. Anyways, everyone was so nice. Even if I told you every single thing about them, you'd be like, wow, what a great people. Everybody was very nice. I try not to I said this yesterday, poo-poo on the woo-woo. Try not to poo-poo on the
technical
woo-woo.
term. It's a technical scientific term.
And I used to poo-poo on the woo-woo more, where I'd be like, oh yeah, whatever. But honestly, I see much more value in it now.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by poo-poo on the woo-woo?
I would say I don't feel like I saw the importance or the monetary value in spending $40 to sit on the floor of somebody's house for 2 hours.
So by woo-woo, are you saying the
spiritual astrology, that whole kind of realm of
Was there astrology involved?
No, but I feel like they tend to go hand in hand.
The woo-woo.
The woo-woo.
Right.
Right, and she had tarot cards up and stuff.
Very woo-woo.
Very woo-woo.
I mean, sitting on the floor already, you're woo-wooing.
Well, I like to sit on the floor.
You're woo-wooing out the woo-hoo.
I'm woo-wooing out the hoo-hooing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyways, so we introduce ourselves. You get to hear each other's names. And then comes the cacao ceremony. Now, she informs me that this cacao, as she refers to Mama Cacao, and she was asking...
Mama Cacao.
She was asking if I wanted, and I was like, I have not done a cacao ceremony. She's like, are you familiar with cacao? And I was like, I have had.
I am familiar with the concept of a chocolate.
I was like, I have had drinking chocolates, because she was saying that it wasn't a regular. She's like, it's not like hot chocolate. And I said, yeah, I've had drinking chocolate before. I'm not sure what exactly this is going to be, but I've had some. Okay, I did not like the cacao. I did not like it. I drank the cacao. I was not a fan of the
how did they serve it? Was it powder? Was it chunks?
So she has a Dutch oven that's full of it's a drink. It's
Like mulled wine?
It kind of reminded me of champorado. You know, the Mexican, like, corn thickened hot chocolate that we get sometimes?
Was it real thick like
It was
that?
really thick, not as thick as champorado, but like pretty thick. She said that she makes it with oat milk,
That's
and so it's like this special cacao from Guatemala, and then she mixes it with oat milk and honey and like some spices and stuff.
Okay.
Very bitter. Well, honestly, I mean, it smelled. I almost started laughing because it was in these really pretty cups.
Ooh.
Like nice matching set of like kind of almost like a ceremonial tea cup, like with the straight walls. And it smelled like a chocolate oatmeal cookie. And then I realized, like, oh yeah, she said she put oat milk in it. Like
Chocolate, oat milk,
yeah.
little honey.
Yeah, so I was like, okay. I would describe it as... Now, she did say that this cacao is a medicine, that it is considered medicinal, and that it is used to, like, open up your heart. And would I say that the cacao opened my heart? Probably no.
What?
There wasn't... I don't know. I didn't feel any different.
Well, I don't know if it's a physical reaction. I think it's more of a mental open your heart, like to receive love, maybe.
I guess. I don't know. So
that's the woo-woo speaking.
That's the woo-woo speaking. Did I open my heart?
Did you open your woo-woo?
I think my heart was pretty open to begin with. I mean, I would say that I didn't feel any more open than any other time that I've done, like, kind of vulnerability exercises in a group.
What did I tell you about drinking the ceremonial cacao before you go? You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to.
So part of the ceremony is she's ladling into the cups, and then she passes it, and it goes around the circle until it gets all the way around, and you say, "I'm giving this cacao with love," and then you're making eye contact, which she didn't say you had to make eye contact, but everybody was very intent on the eye contact. And I was like, okay, we're making eye contact. And then you say, I receive this cacao with love.
With love.
And then you turn and you pass it. You say, I'm giving this cacao with love. And so the cacao is passed around the circle, but every time it changes hands, you say, I'm giving this with love, and I'm receiving it with love until you get to the very end.
It's almost the same as like charging tarot cards with your energy, right? You're like you're like energizing the cacao.
Exactly, and so it gets passed around, and like I did think it was a little funny. I think if it was me, I would have started from like going one side and then the other side.
Thinking logistics, would have been way more efficient.
Because the one person, she said, "I'm giving this with love" like 10 times, and the first person who got it
didn't get to say it once.
Didn't get to say she was giving it with love.
Well, now we know whose love is not included in the cacao.
Right.
So was there like music playing during all of this? Was it silent? Was she like hitting a drum?
So there was the accordion or the...
Was she playing it while passing it out?
No, not during that. But she did have a Bluetooth speaker that had ambient music. I'll get into the music.
Okay.
But there was like a lot of like kind of like...
I'm just trying to put myself there, you know.
It was
I'm being passed cacao.
Meditative. Oh, also in the middle, we've got...
Okay, we're in a circle.
We're in a circle. Yeah. In the middle, you've got candles.
Okay.
And some marigolds and eucalyptus.
Of course.
In a nice little circle. And I did actually really appreciate it because we were leading us through the very first meditation exercises, she's like, you know, if you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. If you just want to gaze into the candles... And I like having something to look at because I'm not necessarily a close your eyes kind of person for meditation. Yeah. And so she's like, if you want to gaze into the candle, you know, and like, I liked being able to have, what I will say is she did a really excellent job of the whole thing, had a good flow to it. She really was on top of her pacing and knew how to like, you know, transition between things, and she had the music playing most of the time. She had some kind of music going. There was like a little bit where she was like, I'm going to turn off the music. We're going to have just a moment of like quiet stillness. And there's a, you know, bits of meditation and just kind of like general progression through it. So with the cacao, right? Everybody gets their cacao, and then we kind of are like, all right. And she's like, so you're going to drink your cacao. And she's like, but we are going to be hyper present in this moment. Like we are not rushing through this. You're, focus on the smell, the feeling of the warmth in the cup. You want to really, savor this cacao and experience it and be present in the moment with the cacao. And I'm like, okay. And it did not help that I didn't like the cacao.
I mean, that's just part of being in the moment.
But it was part of being in the moment. And so, it's
Did you make a face? I imagine you're like, all right, I'm in the moment. Like you just make a little sour.
I don't think I made a face.
No, I don't think
but
you did.
I think she could tell I didn't like it very much.
I mean, was the point to like it?
I don't think so. She described it as being medicine.
Right. Medicine doesn't necessarily always taste good.
So some people finish their cup, which to me, I did not. I drank most of it, but it was an effort.
How big was the cup? You said it was like a thin walled.
It was like
ceramic or.
Yeah, it was porcelain or ceramic. I would say it was probably 6 ounces.
Oh.
Of liquid.
Could be like what? 2 gulps, 3 gulps. If you like it.
It was about like
half
a mug
that?
filled, like half a mug.
Yeah.
Half this mug. A little more than half this mug. Yeah, or a lot more if you don't like it. And it's very thick.
I think the thickness would get me.
It's very thick and grainy, and very early on I got some kind of. So I think she was grinding the cacao herself in like a mortar and pestle.
Oh.
So I got like the skin of a bean. I'm going to go with, I don't know. It was some, it's like when you get a sun-dried tomato skin.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Not great.
No, and that was on the first sip. And I was like, oh no.
I mean, part of me thought that it might have gotten the route of like, she's going to make you finish it so she can read the like cocoa nibs at the bottom for your future or something.
No, so I drank most of it. Mm-hmm. The drinking of the cacao probably took 10 minutes.
Okay. So 10 minutes of the 2-hour.
Which we did in silence.
Okay, so 10 minutes of silence.
Where we were drinking.
In the moment.
In the moment. I think there was like, or I should say there was no talking. I do think she had the music on during that.
Okay.
In the moment, no talking. We're just drinking our cacao.
Sure.
And then once everyone finished the cacao, we had like a moment to like have a break, like take a little drink of water. Like you could journal or write down any notes of things that you thought of during the cacao drinking. And then we did a little movement exercise, and she was like, all right, we're going to warm up our bodies and just, for the most part, we were sitting on the floor.
Of course.
And basically we did a little bit of, I would say, non-guided stretching, where she's like, do what you need. Like maybe she's kind of like suggesting like kind of warming up the body by like massaging your legs and kind of like massaging your arms and general stretching on the floor. And then she guided us to our feet, and she put some music on. And at first it was very kind of like Zen meditative music.
Sure.
And so we're kind of just like casually moving around a little bit and doing a little more stretching. And then the music changes, and it's like femme anthem. I wish I could remember what that song is, because I've heard this song before.
Yeah.
By the end, it was like a 15-minute. She was like, all right, we're going to do a little movement. This will be about 15 minutes of movement exercise. And it was just kind of this slow transition from sitting on the floor and like very gentle stretching. By the end, we're like fucking shaking our ass. Like, everyone's jumping. It is now a dance party at the end. We're, like, out of breath.
What did that cacao do to you?
I know. Well, I mean, as someone who really likes dancing... Oh, and we set an intention when we were drinking our cacao. Like, kind of like you do for a yoga class, where you set an intention for the day. The intention I set was to do burlesque more. So we go through the movement... Mm-hmm. And we end up like fully dancing, and then she's like, all right, we're going to take a little break. You got to pee, you can go pee, and then we'll come sit back down.
Sure.
And I have, we're not like, obviously you're not on your phone at all. And it's like, okay, like, I have no idea what time it is. She's keeping track of time. And it's daylight savings, and this happened between 3:30 and 5:30. So the sun is like
It got dark. Yeah,
so
it got
it's
dark.
getting dark. Like I'm like, I have no. What year is it? Like. So we settle back down, and she's like, okay, it's time to look at your card, because sitting in front of us, there's been a card face down on the floor. For 6 minutes, we did a little meditation where you just look at the card and feel things.
Oh, 6 minutes of looking at a
6
card?
minutes of looking at the card and seeing how you feel and just being connected and in the moment and like present and thinking. You're not allowed to write anything down yet. You're only looking at the card or just sitting there for 6 minutes.
Well, are you going to tell me what your card said, or are we just going to...
And this was when I think she turned off the music. It was just silent.
Silence.
So it's just, all you could hear is a bird outside chirping, and we're just staring. I was just looking at these cards. So it was very on the nose. I got the transformation card.
Oh, they were tarot cards?
They were not tarot cards. They were akin to a tarot card.
All right, there's no transformation card in tarot.
Yeah. They were akin to tarot cards.
But they were like... I was imagining at first it was like a note card that she wrote on.
No.
And that's what you were looking at.
No, it was like some little symbol. And so somebody else had gotten flow. Someone had gotten just be, right? Just exist. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I got transformation. And I did take a picture of my card so that I could show it to you.
Oh my God, there's going to be a picture of this card in the description link where you can find the picture.
Yes.
And look at it yourselves.
Which, it was quite dark in there. But that was my card.
Okay, so let me just look at this for 6 minutes in silence real quick, and we'll come back to me. Okay, well, that's a very abstract picture, huh?
It was a very abstract picture.
Okay, so then what about this? Then what?
Okay, so, and then you did some journaling afterwards, right? So we look at it for 6 minutes, and then we spend about 5 minutes writing in a journal.
About the card or just in general?
About whatever you were feeling.
Okay.
Like, it didn't necessarily have to be about the card per se, but like the things that it evoked or whatever you were thinking about at the time. And so you journal for a couple of minutes, and I wrote a bit about kind of like some of the different imagery that I was seeing and like how I thought it applied to me. So the card is kind of like almost like a African mask, maybe I would describe it as looking like. It's like a keyhole shaped little guy, like half a face. And then it's got the big eye with like a circle around, almost looks like a fancy lamp in front of the eye with like little fish scale scallopy things. And then there's like a dead leaf. And
can I look at it again?
And another leaf. And it's like a little frazzled dude. Like a little frazzled looking mask.
Right.
With these kind of gritted teeth.
Yeah, I see the teeth.
And,
okay.
For me, I very much related to it in that, like, right now with us having moved down from LA to San Diego, and we're trying to like build community, and we're also both working on our physical health with like working out and trying to, just like build our stamina and like our strength and all of those things. Like, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm right in the middle of like a transformation right now.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Like, it's hard, man. And so it was very emotional. And I was like, later when we were discussing our cards, I was like, it was on the nose, like a little on the nose. And everybody laughed. It was really fun. So, being the English teacher that she is, she paired us up together, and I got paired with this very sweet young French woman. We sat down, and then basically the exercise is one person talks uninterrupted for 2.5 minutes about whatever their struggle is at the time, and then the other person just sits and listens, and then you say back what they said to you in your own words, essentially. Or you can use their words, but basically...
You're not like parroting it back.
You are kind of, but it's 2.5 minutes of information, which is a lot of info.
Yeah.
Can be fit in 2.5 minutes. And so then you're trying to say all of like the big points that you gathered from it and
Sure.
like what you're kind of seeing in that. And then you would switch. And it was based on birthday. So my birthday
It's your way off, right?
very far off. She went first. But it was really interesting. She was like a world traveler, and she was telling me about her personal journey that's kind of been happening recently. It was very personal, so I don't want to like.
We don't need to share it.
I'm not
No.
going to share. But I did find out that she was a dive instructor in the Bahamas.
No way.
And she said that she had never met another female diver. She's been in San Diego for a year, I believe, a year or two, a year, I think, and that she hadn't met any other female divers. So we might go diving sometime.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, you need to clean up your gear.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Well, they
we'll
have,
see.
100 different shops around that you
I
can.
know, but so that
That's
was
really
cool.
cool. That's
that
very
was really
cool.
fun.
The Bahamas, man.
And yeah, and then I told her a bit about the move, and we had talked a little bit about the show and how things were going, and just kind of, I was talking about like, being in the middle of making a lot of big changes has been harder than I expected. I mean, I guess I expected it to be difficult. But like the expectation, and we've talked about this before, the
Yeah.
expectation and then the actual experiencing of it, where I'm like, oh, I know it's going to be hard. I just didn't think I was going to dislike the process so much.
I mean, yeah, it's one thing to plan it as much as you can, but another thing to have to go through
Actually
it
go through
and
it.
figure out, you can plan as much as you want, but you're going to hit snags that you didn't expect.
Right. So I think that's been, well, and also just, there's grandiose plans and ideals
I know.
that can be hard to,
Materialize.
yeah. I mean, not just that, but also, so after we did that exercise, I think we kind of all came together. We did a little tiny bit more meditation and basically did kind of our closing thoughts, where we all went around the circle again and talked about the, like, kind of sharing what the journaling was about and sharing how, like, final thoughts after, like, it didn't have to be related to your card. It didn't have to be related to anything, just more of like, what have you learned from this session, or what have you had the chance to kind of work through some things with this session, and how, like, how has your perspective been altered in some way by
Okay.
doing this? Kind of is like what it ended up being. And I was talking about how, and I was like, well, I got the transformation card. And I was like, having moved down here 2 months ago, seems a little on the nose, but, and we were having a good laugh about that. And I was like, yeah, this little guy on the card is going through it. And I feel that. And I think, I think the big perspective change it gave me was that I can't just expect the actual process of the transformation to be easy,
Right.
right? Like,
I mean, if it was easy, everyone would do it, right?
well, yeah, but I mean, but also that, and like some of it too, I was thinking there's like, I'm a big imagery kind of person, a big, like, I like I love a metaphor. I love an allegory. And I was thinking about, when it comes to, like, even if we're talking like a regular old metamorphosis with like the caterpillar turning into a butterfly.
The Animorph covers? Book
Animorph covers,
Yeah.
a werewolf's transition.
Right.
Right. The process of preparing for transition is, like, sure, the caterpillar does it by instinct, but there's also a ton of work that goes into eating that many leaves.
Well, yeah, it's its entire life.
Right?
That's
It's
all. Its whole purpose.
doing. It's just eating a bunch of leaves, and then it has to build a whole cocoon,
Yeah.
and then it turns to fucking goo.
Turns into goo.
And then, but it's not done when it turns, because it's got to break out of the cocoon, and it's got to, like, you do the climb with its wet ass wings and all the stuff before it can finally just actually be a fucking butterfly, right? And I feel like I'm in the goo right now. Like I'm really in the goo, you know? And at some point I'm gonna have to like break out of the goo, but I don't think I have everything sorted
Well,
yet.
I mean, you got to turn from
You know,
goo into a solid before you can break out of the
I've still
cocoon.
got like legs at the top, and I need them to, cruise on down to the bottom before I'm gonna be done being goo.
I mean, there's times where I have to remind myself that our personal journey that we're doing is something that no one's ever done before. So we're still kind of going in blind. No matter how many other people have experienced similar things, they've never experienced what we are currently experiencing. Especially with the different criteria of like what we do for work, what our relationship is like, where we are geographically.
And the fact that, it's something that we haven't done before.
Not even close.
Not even close. So.
No, we both moved before, but not like this. We both, gone to a different city before, but not like this.
Yeah.
As long, not with this much intention of trying to be a part of the community more and trying to get involved. And I don't know. It's a very, the transformation is real.
The transformation is very real. So, and it's been, I don't know. It's been, I feel like for me, I had a transformation, and it was it's very funny that I ended up reading that letter that I had written the other day.
Oh yeah, your last bartending job, resignation letter.
Job, because that was my last transformation, within reason, like transitioning from bartending full time to streaming full time. Mm-hmm. That was like a big change, obviously, but it wasn't necessary. I mean, it was positive and negative. I would call it bittersweet, melancholy, whatever you want to say. Because I didn't really want to leave restaurants. I felt forced.
No, you were pretty forced.
Forced to leave, and with like a lot
bitter,
of negativity, very bitter, very resentful. And it's hard to go into something else when you're going into it because you left for bad reasons, right? Because you left because you were slighted.
Right.
As opposed to when I moved to LA, right, and I left my job and I was moving for a positive thing.
Right.
It was bittersweet because I was going to miss everyone, but it was exciting.
Right. Everyone was very happy for you.
Everyone was really happy for me. They were really proud of me. They were excited to see what was going to happen when I moved to LA. And it was like a big, like, we're sad to see you go, but we're happy to see you grow kind of thing, right? But then leaving this other job was like a, fuck you, you piece of trash, I hate you, and everything you stand for, like, never again. You have ruined this industry for me, as like the final nail in the coffin. And really, it was just LA restaurants that like ruined it for me.
I do feel like every restaurant we've been to in San Diego has been a positive experience, even if the food's not super good.
Yeah, way better. So I'll go with it was LA, which maybe I would enjoy working in a restaurant in San Diego. Not that we have time for it, really.
No, not really. No. Well, I mean, you think about, quick aside, what happened to the restaurant industry in LA during COVID and everyone leaving and them having to just find warm bodies to fill the spots, and then it's impossible to fire anybody. So then all these people are stuck in these positions.
It was a mess. It was a mess.
Yeah.
To be fair, pre-COVID, still a lot of terrible stuff that went down in the LA restaurant industry.
At least people tried a little more.
They did try a little more.
Yeah.
But it was not like, it wasn't starting in a good place.
Oh, no. No.
Anyways.
So wait, hold on. I want to get a quick timeline of everything, right? So you did the cacao, you did the splitting off, you did the meditation.
So we did the cacao. So it was like grounding at the start, cacao.
Yeah.
Dancing.
Sure.
The movement into or a little bit of journaling, movement into dancing.
Then you split off.
Then we did the little partner exercise, and then we all came back together. The sharing in the circle.
And was that the end? That was the whole 2 hours?
Yeah. And you know what? It felt like forever. It felt like I was like, it must be 9 o'clock. I was like, this feels like it's so long. I was like, what time is it?
It's so funny you say that.
She said we went like 10 minutes over.
because it's so funny you say that, because like I knew that you weren't going to be on your phone at all, so I didn't even try to like contact you in any way. But like once, because it was I think it started at like 3:30 or something, and it was like 5:45, and I was thinking to myself, did she get like abducted by a cult? No, it's just some kind of weird thing. Like she hasn't, there's nothing. Should I be worried? And then like you just showed up, or you called. I think you called me on the way home.
Which it went from 3:30 to 5:30.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, we're almost like." At the end, she was like, "Oh, we're almost 10 minutes over," and she's like, "I'm gonna have to go pick up my kid." Where I think her husband had her kid, or she's got grandparents in town, so there was a small child
that needed
attending at some point, and so she was like, "Sorry, I gotta hang up with my kid." But we all kind of shared contact info with folks, and she invited me to the WhatsApp group for the circle time. Dang, I'm saying up again. WhatsApp group with the circle time. It was really funny. So at the end, as being my usual funny self, I had made a few clips that were funny and people were laughing.
Nobody's ever prepared for it.
I know.
Every time I've been put in a group setting and like I get a little quippy, like everyone's like, "Man, you're funny.
You're so funny." Yeah. So, and I told it later, I was like, "Oh, I do kind of like to bury the lead," because I did not share what I did for work.
No, never.
Until the very end when I was explaining the transformation card, because one of the things I was talking about was with this change from LA to San Diego is that like being a very confident person and having our job where we're basically just have to be so confident all the time. Right? Because that's the thing, is like doing these wild and outlandish things and just not feeling embarrassed and just putting yourself out there the whole time. And then to have to do that for every other interaction all the time, it's exhausting. And so I was saying, I was like, being brave all the time sucks. Like, every time I go into a new class, every time I go to do anything, I don't know anyone. So I have to go and be brave. And it's just like constant. It's a constant having to be brave and talk to people that I don't know. And I don't mind it. Like, it's something I like doing and I genuinely do, but it does get tiring. Like,
well, I mean, I won't get as deep as I did last night, but I mean, I was talking about how your bravery has inspired me to be way more brave than I've ever been before. Where like stuff like this podcast that we do, where we send each other places, and I'd use the archery class as an example, where, if I hadn't, learned from you and been inspired by your bravery, I probably wouldn't have talked to anyone. I might have still gone, but like the ability to break that wall, get out of your own shell, it was something I could never do before. And I had also said last night that I'm also probably one of the least inspired people by you, because there are so many people that are way more inspired. Even though I've been inspired so much, but there are way more. There are people that have been much more inspired by you. Yeah. You're an inspiring person.
Thank you. Anyways.
And look, you probably inspired this entire group of women in that cacao circle.
Well, so here's the thing. There was one woman who when I finally said, yeah, I host an internet comedy show, and she was like, I freaking knew something. She told me at the end as we were leaving, she's like, you're hilarious. You're so funny. I really thought that there was a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, she looks so much like Zooey Deschanel. and I was like, okay.
Zooey Deschanel in this cacao circle?
And then she's like, you're so funny. For a moment there, I was like, is this Zooey Deschanel? Are we being pranked right now? Is Zooey Deschanel actually at this women's circle?
Look, no hate to Zooey Deschanel, but I think you are way funnier than she is.
And
Come at me. Zoe Deschanel
like,
stands.
she was like, no freaking wonder. She's like, oh, okay, you're a comedian. That makes so much sense.
My last name is also Deschanel, so that makes sense.
Deschanel, yeah.
Yeah, Nurse Huckleberry Deschanel.
And then she's like, what's your Instagram? Like, how do I find you? And I was like, oh, it's Nurse Huckleberry. She's like, Nurse Huckleberry? She's like, God, what a name. She's like, oh, you're incredible. And I was like, oh my God. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You know, that's one thing about our line of work is you can't really lead with that.
No.
You're like, oh, I do comedy on the internet. And they're like, oh, well, say what's funny. What do you do that's funny?
And
Tell me a joke.
You know what? And that's the beautiful part about San Diego is you rarely get asked what you do at the start of a conversation. True. So, like in LA, you get asked what you do right away all the time.
Well, yeah, because they have to figure out what they can take from you.
Yeah, what they can take from you. Because every interaction is networking.
Yeah. Oh, wow, what is this person's value? Should I actually continue to talk with them? God, that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to leave that city.
Yeah.
Anyone that you talk to.
But overall, I had a really good time. And I do think it was the value. I think the value was there. I mean, how often do we end up paying $40 a pop for like an okay dinner?
More often than I'd like.
Yeah, more often than I'd like to. Eating out is hard. But you pay
Eating out is easy.
So
okay.
If I feel like when I equate it to what a $40 meal might be for that 2-hour experience, I would say it was very much well worth it. And I definitely feel like it changed my perspective on the value of that kind of a thing.
Of the wee-woo?
Of the wee-woo.
Of the woo-woo.
Of the woo-woo. Specifically because the host was such a good guide. And she really, like, the room was set up nice. There was really nice ambiance. The guiding was very good. And, like, the pacing was really nice. She had the music set up for everything and the different exercises. And and it was like a 2-hour experience. So, you know, like if I was to go to a 1-hour class on that, $20, pretty reasonable for a 1-hour class. So 2-hour class.
It might be less people would be better, but maybe for like the 1-hour one.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it being 2 hours made sense. And
I mean, I did feel the same way going way back with the tarot reading and the tarot and tea in the park. It definitely, and that one wasn't as expensive, but it changed my perspective on the woo woo also, because I had never done tarot cards really before. So like, it's interesting how doing this show has given us the opportunity to shift our perspective on things.
I agree, and I think some of it is. Well, one, I've been missing burlesque, and I actually am going to a burlesque class today.
Hell yeah.
For it, you know, which is the first burlesque class I've taken since being down here.
Well, hey, you've done exercise. You're probably, going to feel pretty good there.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. And it's like a strength and flexibility class, so.
Nice.
That'll be good. But I feel like for me, particularly being in women-centric spaces or women-only spaces is something that I've grown to value a lot more. And I think some of that is because of being like a woman on the internet. It's tough, man. It's tough.
It is.
And so having those spaces to have that, like, I don't know, it's just different. It just feels very different. And I don't know how to describe it of like, and especially people coming together with the intention of being vulnerable and with the intention of like.
Well, it's it's an outlet and it's not, there's no judgment and, everyone, it seems, feels confident to share personal information and personal problems or grievances or happiness, whatever.
Yeah. I would say that, like, I don't feel like I have the same stoicism about the experience, but I would say it's maybe, like, it kind of was akin to like how clown school made me feel.
I was going to say, it sounded very similar to some of the clown school activities.
It really was. And I would say, I don't know who's pulling from who, because it really did have like with the freedom of movement and kind of like the building of like the combination of movement and breath and meditation. Mm-hmm. And then also the vulnerability, because clown school, you're very vulnerable.
Very vulnerable.
And so like that sharing of vulnerability and like the there's also a lot of eye contact.
A lot of clown school eye contact.
Clown school had a lot of eye contact. And so like the talk and response portion was very reminiscent of like the smiling exercise.
Right.
Well,
the one that when you were talking about the slow build to dancing to shaking your ass off reminded me of like the last day of then your clown character being born from goo and getting up and then getting your nose basically.
Exactly. And so I see a lot of value in that kind of experience. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get what people are going for here. But yeah, no, I would go again. I thought it was, and it is a group of people who are very community minded, and most of them are all friends at this point, having met through Circle and becoming friends with each other. And a lot of the women were relatively recently moved to San Diego or had lived in San Diego and moved back, and there was kind of a shared struggle of not really having people within walking distance. Everybody agreed that we didn't like to have to drive to go see friends.
Everywhere, yeah.
Driving everywhere.
I mean, at least it doesn't take that long.
No, it doesn't. I had a great time, and I would go again.
This is one of the best recap experiences I think we've had so far.
Yeah.
Where, like, there was nothing bad besides maybe the taste of the cacao.
No, I just didn't like the cacao very much. But, I just kept telling myself, I'm like, it's medicinal.
Yeah, medicine's not supposed to taste good.
It's good. And kind of... I would say that that's like the one bit where I was like, I don't know if this is going to do anything. And I don't really feel like it did anything particularly for me, because I didn't feel any more or less vulnerable than any other meditation and sharing class. Mm-hmm. But I think the point of the savoring of the process, regardless of whether I enjoyed the savoring, technically, but being in the moment, was good. So...
Very good. Well, I'm glad that went so well, and I cannot wait to go somewhere myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you. You're up next.
I'm up next. Dang.
Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget, if you're listening early, that means you're a Fourth Wall member, and if you want to listen early, you could become a Fourth Wall member yourself.
Yeah, there's even a video. Did you know there's a video of us sitting in chairs against a wall?
And behind the scenes of our bloopers.
Oh my god. Uh-huh. Bert meowed a lot today.
Yeah, Bert was meowing, so.
Scratching at something.
Yeah, which probably will end up being in here, in the video, and in the podcast. We'll see.
Yeah, well, talking about the stinky poops will be in the... Spoilers!
Spoilers! Anyways, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Nurse. That's Dooder. Don't forget to check out our
Twitch channel
over at
Nurse Huckleberry,
where we do a comedy cooking show. We also do YouTube stuff. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this podcast is out every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.